Why is the weight keep sneaking up? Well, if you're a man in your 40s and you're gaining weight, I'm going to give you 4 facts of why this is happening and how you can actually fix the problem. I'm Ryan Brown, founder at Ryan Brown Coaching, which is my personalized weight loss coaching program for men over 40. Let's be real for a minute. If you're a man in your 40s and suddenly the clothes is getting a little tighter and that mid-age spread starts to become a reality, you're eating the same way, or maybe you're even exercising, but the numbers on the scale keeps creeping up, and you're saying to yourself, what's going on? Let me reassure you, it's not a lack of willpower or discipline. Your body is changing and you really need to understand why. And this is why I'm doing this video, to open your eyes, to let you understand why this is happening and how you can actually reverse the problem. So now I'm going to give you 5 reasons why men 40 plus tend to gain weight. The first one is slow metabolism. Look, as you age, your metabolism naturally slows down. And your metabolism is just really a complex set of chemicals that convert the foods you eat into energy. And while your genetics will play a role in slow metabolism, the primary cause is really by some of the lifestyle choices that we make. So if you're eating the same way like you did in your 20s and your 30s, your body's simply not burning the energy as efficiently as it did. It's almost like your engine is really running on a lower idle than it used to be before, right? You're just not burning the calories as quick as possible. I want to, get you to understand that these changes are natural. Completely reverse them, but you can slow the process down and just make your quality of life much better than it is. So the first one is slow metabolism. The second one is muscle loss, which is called sarcopenia. Muscle loss is a natural process. As you get older, you tend to lose more and more muscles, and you just tend to get weaker and weaker and weaker. But there are things that you can do to actually slow the process down. There's studies to show that at age 30 and above, we lose this somewhere between 3 and 8% of our muscle mass every decade. And as you get older, that number tend to increase. So what the idea here is, so how can we slow the process down? That's all we're about. We can slow the process down to make sure that we increase the quality of life as we age. Because when your muscles are metabolically active, you will burn more calories even when you're sleeping, right? Even when you're sitting on the sofa watching the TV, you'll actually burn calories. But for that to happen, you have to have what they call a metabolically active muscle. So the main point being, the less muscles you have, the slower your metabolism, the less calories you burn, right? Which creates a vicious cycle of gaining weight, aka belly fat, right? Whenever I see a man and they have abdominal belly fat, there's always 2 things going on, right? Slow metabolic rate and insulin resistance, right? And those are the things that once you hit 40 and 40 plus are things that really are a problem, something that we can easily fix with support and the right discipline. So that's the second one, muscle loss. The third one is hormonal changes, particularly testosterone. Look, we know as we get 40 plus, our testosterone levels starts to decline. And again, it's just a natural process. This drop off in testosterone really decreases our muscle mass and makes it way harder to actually maintain active, healthy muscles. This can also leads to decrease in strength, and it's why older people tend to have a lot of broken bones when they're full because they have less muscles to actually cushion and protect those bones. And once your testosterone starts to decline, for us men, we tend to want to gain fat around the abdominal areas, aka belly fat. It takes intention, a good plan, and the right support, and you can easily reverse this challenge. Testosterone can also decrease your energy levels or the motivation to get up and do stuff. It's why once we get to this age, a lot of us tend to stop playing sports. We just want to come home, have the dinner, play with the kids for a little bit, sit on the sofa, watch TV. We just want to do less things, and that has to do with low testosterone. Because the more testosterone you have, the more drive you have, the more you're motivated to get up and do stuff. Is why the younger generation, or they could stay up all night, or they don't have to sleep. They could wake up in the morning and just get out of the house, go to work, whatever. And as you get older, you tend to take longer to recover from these things. And that's part of just having low testosterone. But don't worry, I am going to give you some tips to try and make sure that you increase or maintain your testosterone levels through some lifestyle intervention that I'm about to show you. Point four, the lifestyle trap, which is what I call the comfort zone. And this is when work gets a little bit more demanding, family life is a little bit more busy, and your stress levels start to increase a little bit more than it normally was. Personally, I'm currently trying to grow my personal business, and at the same time I am working a 9 to 5 job, and at the same time I have a family. So it's not as easy as it seems. I have to attend all of these things with the energy required, and having all of these things pulling your attention from all different directions can be a stressor, can drain you, especially as you age, right? And when life gets this way, we tend to want to sleep more. We tend to want to move less. We tend to want to gravitate to foods that keep us comfortable, right? The sweets, the snacks, the chocolate on the couch, and not to mention going out for a pint or two with your work colleagues and friends on the weekend just to try to unwind. But the reality is, while I am not saying we should stop those things, I am saying that we need to change our behaviors, right? We don't need to completely cut them out, but we need to adapt and sort of change our behaviors because we are 40 plus and our bodies is changing. But if the habits that you have in your 20s, 30s don't change, then it will eventually catch up with you. And this is what a lot of men in their 40s are struggling with, that they haven't changed the habits that they had for the 20s, 30s. And when you get to 40 plus, trust me, I know you have to change your habits because your body is changing and you need to change with your body. That's the fourth one, life trap, or what I call the comfort zone. So what do you do about it? It's not all doom and gloom. Look, I'm 46 plus and I am feeling some of the same effects that I'm talking here. Some of the tips that I'm about to share with you are things that I do every day because, like I said, I'm at that age where some things are a priority and others are not. I have to look after my health because I want to not say live forever, but extend my quality of life while I'm here. So my encouragement to you, it's 100% possible to try and reverse, slow down the aging process so you can increase the quality of life. So now I'm going to share with you 5 tips of how to actually reverse this problem or slow this process down and increase your quality of life. The first one, prioritize protein. This is a game changer once you implement. I talk a lot about this in a lot of my content. If you listen and watch my content, I talk about we must increase our protein intake, especially at breakfast, right? Because a lot of times, a lot of people who snack during the day, who's always trying to eat something sweet, the reason that is because you haven't optimized your breakfast. I promise you, if you have 30 grams of protein at breakfast in the morning, it will completely eradicate 90% of the snacking during the day. And if when you go to dinner, you have another 30 to 40 grams, I promise you, you will stop eating a lot of the after dinner snack or the desserts that we normally like to have or the treats that we normally like to have. We like to sit on the sofa after we come home and we have the crisp, the chocolate, right? And a lot of that stems from not having enough nutrient dense food, i.e., protein. And if you want to optimize your diet, don't try to change everything all at once. I always recommend focus on one meal first. My recommendation is breakfast because breakfast really sets the tone for the rest of your day, right? If you don't optimize your breakfast, have the right nutrients, open the door for snacking, for cravings, for reaching for the coffee 10 o'clock in the morning, for reaching for the croissant, the crisp. If you don't prioritize eating quality, a high protein breakfast in the morning, right? And I say shoot for 30 grams. Shoot for 30 grams. Start there. And as you start to see the changes, then you might look to improve your lunch. And as if you're a lunch person, go for lunch. If you're somebody that don't eat lunch but like to eat dinner, then focus on dinner. But first start with breakfast because the breakfast is really where you would create the most momentum. You will get the most gains from optimizing your breakfast. Like I said, shoot for 30 grams of protein first in the morning. So that's the first tip. Prioritize protein. I promise you, if you do this one thing, just this one thing, you will see significant change in your fat composition. By the way, if this sounds interesting to you, I have created a free 7-day meal plan. And this meal plan is designed to optimize protein intake, especially at breakfast. All the breakfast options on this meal plan consist of 30 grams of protein. And it's a meal plan that I have implemented every day, right? It's a meal plan I share with my clients so you can have it for free. All you need to do is to click on the link in the description, fill in your details, and download the meal plan and start implementing right away. Also, if you would like personal help implementing this meal plan and other support in weight loss, on the thank you page, there's an option for you to book a call with me where we can sit down and we can get to know the problem that you're facing and what are the best solutions, what is the best path for your individual situation. So if that sounds interesting to you, remember on the thank you page, book a call, and I will personally call you and we have a chat to see if it's a good fit, if we can work together, and how I can help you. Tip number 2, lift heavy stuff. Just lift weights. Once you get 40 plus, this is the crucial part of optimizing your health. Lifting heavy stuff. I promise you, don't wait. Start today. Most of the people who actually done the work, lose the weight, and then gain the weight back is really caused by not strength training. I tell you why. So when you're losing weight, there's studies to show that 30% of the weight that you lose is actually muscles. So while you're losing weight, you're losing muscles and you're losing body fat at the same time. However, if what during the weight loss process you're not eating enough protein or you're not strength training to maintain those muscles, once you get to your goal weight, you want to lose 20 kg. Once you lose that 20 kg, if you haven't having enough adequate protein or you're not strength training during that phase, you will put the weight back on. Here's why. Because the reason why you gain weight in the first place is because you have a slow metabolism, right? That's it. Your metabolism is just so slow. And if you lose muscles, your metabolism gets even slower. So at the end of your weight loss phase, if you haven't done what I've just said, your metabolism is even slower. So now you are going to gain weight way faster than you did before. So it's a simple trick. Just eat lots of protein while you're losing weight and strength train. You're doing that for one reason, to maintain your muscles, because your muscles are your metabolic currency, right? The more muscles you have, is the faster your metabolism, is the more calories you can eat, right? The more muscles you have, is the more you can have a pint of beer and it doesn't affect you. The more muscles you have, is the more you can have a chocolate and it doesn't store it as body fat, because you're burning more calories using the muscles that you have. So that's a huge one. We must lift heavy stuff. Find ways to lift weights. I am talking squats, deadlifts, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, Ryan, I don't want to be a bodybuilder. Look, let me assure you, you don't have to be a bodybuilder. You don't have to be in the gym 3 or 4 times a week to achieve what I'm trying to tell you. With a good structured plan and support, you can achieve this at home. I promise you, by using your own body weight to do squats, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, dips. Just be creative at home. I'll give you an example. During COVID, when all the gyms were closed, I was training at home, right? And I had two 20 kg water bottles, and I used to carry them up the stairs. I used to carry them down the driveway. Some people, my neighbors would see me and think I'm going crazy, but I was just carrying heavy stuff. I was really just strength training, do tons of push-ups in the house. Sometimes for one day I would do 100 squats, right? Sometimes I do 100 push-ups because I would just do push-ups all day, every day. Once I get 5 minutes, I jump down and do 25, 30 push-ups. So this is something that we can do. Look, if you have the luxury to go to the gym, by all means do that, because it's better to go to the gym. But if you're a busy professional, you're in your 40s, you have family, work, and other things pulling you from all different directions, This is something that you can do at home with a good structured plan, good support, and the right mindset. So again, we must lift weights to trigger that muscle growth so we can maintain those muscles and we can keep them active to speed the metabolism up, so stopping us gaining weight. So that's the second pro tip. We must lift heavy stuff. The third tip, we must find ways to move our body. You might not find time to have a gym session during the day or to go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, but you can build movement practices into your daily life. Example, you could take the stairs, you could go for a walk on your breaks, you can walk to the train station, you can walk to the bus stop, you can walk home from the bus stop or the train station. My job involves sitting a lot, right? And I do 15,000 steps a day, Monday to Friday, 15,000 steps every day. And what I do is I prioritize walking. I go for walks on my breaks, right? I don't sit and have my lunch. I'm always on the walk. I'm not saying you should walk down the street and eating your sandwich, but find ways to move your body. Don't just come home and sit on the sofa and sit 3 or 4 hours and say, look, I'm not moving. Find ways to move your body. And I think me implementing movement in my life has probably been the biggest change in terms of my health. I'm always moving. For example, when I'm at home, I have dumbbells next to my desk. I have a kettlebell. I have a resistance band. I'm always jumping down doing 25 push-ups, swing a kettlebell, or do some overhead press with my dumbbells. So I'm always trying to find ways to move my body. And promise me, it's been a game changer for me, and it will do the same for you. Find ways to move your body. And again, I said you just have to be smart about it. Walk more. That's all that's required. If you don't have time to go to the gym, just move your body more. And as a tip, just shoot for 10 to 15,000 steps a day. Remember that the goal is not to do 25,000 steps in one day. The goal is just to be consistent with moving every day, right? That is the goal, because consistency will beat effort every day. If you are consistently walking 10 to 15,000 steps a day, you will see a significant increase in your cardiovascular health and your fat burning capacity. So that's the third one. We must move our body more. Just be creative. Find ways to move our body. The fourth one, manage stress. Look, stress is not just before we go on stage for a big presentation or before we make a huge decisions or before we have a big conversation with somebody. That's not the stress I'm talking about. I'm talking about the stress that lingers every day. And this fight or flight state, when constantly activated during the day, can cause some negative impacts on your body. So please, guys, one of the things I want to share with you, don't use stimulants to try and cope with stress. Find other natural ways. One of my tips is go for walks. When I say to you, I go for walks every day. I love to go and walk in nature. Sometimes when I need to change my perspective or just clear my mind, I put my phone away and I go for a long walk. And look, I just feel much better when I come back from my walk. So that's another thing. Rather than sitting down and having something sweet or go on social media to try and numb the stress or try and buffer for the stress. Rather, just go for a walk. Try not to have alcohol or any form of stimulant to try and buffer the stress. Rather, just find natural ways. Talk to people. Go for a walk. Find a hobby that you love. If you have the energy and to go and play sports, find a group of men or a group of people that you can talk to and share your struggles if you have any struggles or if you have any stress that's going on, and talk about them rather than and use alcohol or use other stimulants to numb the feeling. One of the key components of my one-on-one coaching program is actually support, and not just support in losing weight, because sometimes we believe that coaching program is just about support to lose weight, but there's other supports that we need in our life as men, right? We need people who have our back, who understands where we're coming from, who have sympathy and compassion for where we are in our lives. And this is why I think support in my coaching program is probably one of the best things I do. Sometimes we're too close to the problem to be able to see it. And sometimes having somebody from the outside to have a look at the problem can give you a different perspective a different angle, a different approach, a different way to look at it, and makes it much more easier for you to actually not overcome it, but manage the situation effectively. So that's the fourth one, manage stress. So the fifth and final one is my favorite, sleep. We must master sleep. This is a huge part of the puzzle because sleep is often the one thing that gets pushed on the back burner when our lives get busy. But for men in this age group, the consequences of poor sleep is way bigger than ever before. If you're not sleeping well, you're going to have some negative effects: low testosterone, slow metabolism, weight gain, insulin resistance, craving, poor cardiovascular health, and immune function. All of these things will be impacted if you're not sleeping well. If you watch my story, I struggled with sleeping when I was younger, and up to today, I sometimes I struggle to sleep, and I have to take some drastic measures to make sure that I'm sleeping well because I am 46, not getting any younger, and sleep is important for me, right? Sleep is really what has helped me to have the energy, have the capacity, stay free from illness, and be able to do the things I want to do in my life, to have the energy to accomplish the goals I set for myself. You must sleep. And look, I'm not saying we shouldn't have a night where we don't sleep because circumstances will throw us curveballs. And when that happens, sometimes we may need to stay up a few nights late. But the idea is we must prioritize our sleep. So sleep is not a luxury, it's a priority, especially for us men 40 plus. We must prioritize sleep. You can sleep your way to weight loss. You can sleep your way to become stronger. You can sleep your way to have the body you had when you were in your 20s and 30s. So prioritize sleep. It's an important part of the puzzle of health and well-being. So let's recap. The first one, focus on what you're eating, i.e. protein, especially at breakfast. Second one, lift heavy stuff. Lift heavy stuff. Use your own body weights at home. You don't need to go to the gym. With a good structured plan and right support, you can do this at home. The third one, move your body. Find ways to move your body. Don't sit down and have an excuse, oh, I'm tired, long day at work. Because the more you move your bodies, the more energy you'll have to do the other things that you want to do in your life. Fourth one, manage stress. Find ways to manage stress. Try to avoid using stimulus and do the natural route. Speak it, talk to people, do hobbies, go for long walks in nature. Those things will help you to manage stress. And the fifth one, sleep. Remember, sleep is not a luxury. It's a priority for us men. We must find ways we must improve our sleep. I say master sleep because if you master sleep, everything else will become easier. If you find what I've shared interesting, please like. Also, you can subscribe to my channel if you're new so you get a notification of all the new videos that I release. Also, if you want my free meal plan, click on the link in the description, fill in your details, and you'll have that meal plan. And also on the thank you page, if you want personalized support, please click on the button book a call and I will personally call you. Thank you for watching. See you soon.